Every word she says about Barack Obama is negative.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of her sitting there just waxing poetic about him, complimenting, he's brilliant, he's a great dad, he was the greatest president, whatever a normal wife of Barack Obama would say. Every time she opines, it's something that reflects poorly on him, how he's insensitive, how he's not a talker, how he doesn't know how to relate to people, he doesn't keep the same schedule as she does, and now we're talking about you can have
All right, guys, this one is spicy. Megyn Kelly didn't just criticize Michelle Obama. No, she ripped apart the glossy image that's basically been treated like gospel for years. And when I say ripped apart, I mean she torched it. Like, took the shiny magazine covers, the carefully staged speeches, the billionaire lifestyle disguised as relatable, and just shredded it. Every polished anecdote, every perfectly staged smile, exposed as brand management. This wasn't your usual polite disagreement. Nope, this was a full-on demolition job. And honestly, it left Michelle's untouchable aura cracked wide open.
Still just as bitter as ever. There's such a great new spin of complaints here. Here's one from her most recent episode, which still on YouTube, she's got 200,000 subscribers. It's really amazing that now she's been doing this for how many episodes? She's been literally on every podcast of the left wing promoting it. And that's still all she's managed.
Now, let's be real. Michelle Obama's been treated by the media like political royalty. Like, every move she makes gets applause, whether it's staged, scripted, or let's be honest, a little self-serving. But Megyn Kelly? Yeah, she came in with zero patience for that pageantry. This wasn't going to be the soft focus, isn't she inspiring fluff we usually get. Kelly stripped away the magazine covers, the Instagram captions, the perfectly timed sound bites, and showed the raw truth. Spoiler alert, it wasn't pretty.
On a podcast called Diary of a CEO. It's kind of rings a bell like a founder kind of situation. And once again, wants you to know how awful it is to be married with children.
There are many natural reasons why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult. It's like, I try to tell couples, of course it's hard. Just listen to what I said.
For years, Michelle's been packaged as this down-to-earth, I'm just like you kind of public figure. The relatable one. But relatable? Really? From someone who spent most of her adult life in elite circles, vacationing at private resorts, and dining with billionaires? The only struggle Michelle knows is probably whether the Gulfstream jet or the private yacht has better lighting for her next photo op.
Here she is interviewing Dr. Sharon Malone, perhaps better known as former Attorney General Eric Holder's wife. And therein lies the problem, as these two ladies married to two very famous men are pissed that they are not the alpha in terms of popularity and recognition.
And then, oof, Megyn Kelly really started pulling threads. Michelle's activism? Yeah, Kelly said it looks inspiring in headlines, but when the cameras turn off, it kinda evaporates. She brought up Let's Move, remember that? That PR-friendly campaign that turned into bureaucratic nonsense and school lunches kids hated? Kelly painted it as the perfect example of Michelle's career. Grand gestures, minimal results, wrapped up in a bow of self-congratulation.
It's probably, if you're having some issues in your marriage, it's not you, it's the process of marriage. It's just all hard because guess what happens when it all works out right? You know what you end up with? Babies. Little people with their own sense of everything. They mess you up. You love them dearly, but they're a half.
What? There's something wrong with this person. She's seriously depressed. She has the most negative, dark outlook on life I've ever heard from a public figure. Certainly one who's been given so.
Then came the book empire. Michelle's memoir. You probably saw it everywhere, right? Sold as raw and honest. But Kelly, she tore into it like it was nothing but a branding exercise, crafted with the precision of a corporate marketing team. Every deep revelation carefully chosen, every story polished until it could double as, I don't know, a Pinterest quote. And the media ate it up, not because it revealed anything real, but because, well, Michelle's image is treated like sacred ground. Nobody dares question it.
Now, Barack's come in, he's come out, and he's like, y'all still talking? He'll sit down for 5 minutes and be like, how are the boys? And the flip side, my husband, right? Because he golfs. And golfing takes as long as the first session of our, it takes 5 hours to golf. He'll golf with his buddies, come back, and be like, how's X? He's good. It's like, what'd y'all talk about?
Okay. So can I just say she stole that from a comedian who's all over Instagram. That little bit is all over Instagram. Forgive me, I can't remember the guy's name, but he does this whole bit about how he goes golfing with a guy whose wife just died, and he comes home and the wife's like, how's he doing? Fine. Well,
Kelly then, and this part was brutal, turned the screws on the hypocrisy. Michelle talks about humility, public service, sacrifice, but her post-White House career reads like a billionaire's vision board. Netflix deals, multi-million-dollar speaking gigs, sold-out stadium tours. And Kelly didn't just call that contradictory, she called it insulting. And then there's Michelle's, oh, I don't want to run for office routine. Yeah, okay. But every move she makes keeps her in the political conversation. Kelly framed it like this. Michelle's whole career has been about amplifying elite political structures, not tearing them down. For all the talk of empowering the powerless, she spent most of her time empowering herself. Fashion spreads, gala appearances, curated social media posts. It's politics dressed up as celebrity culture.
Obama, listen to this.
And at this phase of my life, I'm in therapy right now because I'm transitioning. You know, I'm 60 years old. I've finished a really hard thing in my life with my family intact. I'm an empty nester. My girls are in, you know, they've been launched. And now for the first time, as I've said before, every choice that I'm making is completely mine. I now don't have the excuse of, well, my kids need this or my husband needs that or the country needs that. So how do I think about this next phase?
Once again, speaking a reference to her time as First Lady negatively, and I'm transitioning. I mean, an interesting choice of words, given how the internet refers to her.
Now, Kelly also went straight at the cultural pedestal Michelle's been placed on. You know, like she's untouchable, beyond critique. But Kelly argued that's exactly why scrutiny is needed. Because power without accountability, that's dangerous, even if it comes wrapped in photogenic smiles. Kelly dismantled Michelle's speeches too. They're always hailed as stirring, inspirational, but strip away the pauses, the hand gestures, the dramatic flair, and what's left? Platitudes. Stuff you could literally pull off a graduation card. Kelly called her a master of saying a lot while saying nothing risky. And that's the point. Michelle's not just a public figure. She's a brand. Full-fledged product line, cookbooks, documentaries, merch. She's basically a pop star of politics. And every dollar earned makes her voice of the people shtick harder to swallow.
He was laughing, he was yelling down to a buddy down below. They were joking, he was smiling. He was covered in dirt, to your, your life motto. And I thought, look at this guy in this dark, dank, smelly, dirty place with lots of danger. Not just this cherry picker, but also the live rail that he's working on, all the wires, having a great time. And then you look at her and she's still, they have to be billionaires by now.
Sure.
Out on the yachts, the Martha's Vineyard, $22 million estate, totally thriving young daughters who went to Harvard and USC. It's never going to be good enough. It's a mind frame, right? It's like your choice of how you're going to go through this life.
But Kelly didn't stop there. Oh no, she zoomed out to the Obamas as a whole. The post-presidency empire, supposedly private citizens, but operating more like a dynasty. And Michelle? She's the centerpiece, the one who can sell ideas, movements, even products with just a smile. The most savage part? Kelly shredded the way the press treats Michelle like she can do no wrong. Every outfit, a statement. Every Instagram caption, a mic drop. Every appearance, a historic moment. Kelly called it what it is, a double standard. Anyone else with her privilege would be torn apart. Michelle gets worship. She painted Michelle not as an inspirational leader, but as a savvy operator. Someone who knows exactly how to play the system, all while convincing people she's just like them.
I think that's a very unhealthy position to take, or to advise other people to gut it out for 10 years of misery. I mean, first of all, what that would do to you physically alone, I would never want to sign up for that. And secondly, does she not realize that by talking shit about her partner of decades, first Black president of the United States, she's talking shit about herself? Lady, you chose.
And then Kelly aimed at the bigger picture, the culture itself, the way celebrity worship has bled into politics. Leaders and their families turned into lifestyle brands, immune from critique. And Michelle? In Kelly's eyes, she's not just part of the problem. She's the face of it. Kelly argued Michelle's charm isn't authenticity. It's image engineering. Every laugh, every candid photo, every off-the-cuff remark, rehearsed, filtered, tested for maximum adoration. It's not charisma. It's branding. And Kelly hammered the point that Michelle's so-called grace under pressure is easy when you've got a shield. A media shield. One that never lets her stumbles see daylight.
Here's the first one about how difficult it is for Black women like Michelle to articulate their pain.
We grew up with women who weren't voicing the pain and the burden. They made it look easy. And when you make stuff look easy, people assume that you must like this.
Yeah.
It's okay with you, right?
Right.
You know, we don't articulate as Black women our pain because it's almost like nobody ever gave us permission to do that.
And does anyone care?
Yeah, there's
Will
that.
they care?
There's that
we
part.
knew, I think we would care. If we
Michelle floats above the mess while dipping her toes in whenever she wants. Selective engagement. She gets the influence without the risk. And that, Kelly argued, is the game. Kelly even called out the lavish lifestyle. The designer wardrobes, multi-million-dollar estates, exotic vacations. For someone who claims to represent working families, yeah, Kelly said that doesn't look like relatable. It looks like a Vogue photo shoot.
Knowing that there are divorce rumors and, she's not showing up for him, whether it's at the Jimmy Carter funeral or the Trump inauguration or the basketball game he just went to in LA when visiting their daughters and then dinner with the daughters was not there. Here she is talking about it. If it were me, I would say something nice about him. I would say he's just so charming. It was meant to be. I knew he could heal the earth in the way he did. There was only one person who could do it, and it was my husband, Barack Obama, whatever. Then she gets on to talking a little bit about him personally, and this is how that sounded.
When a girlfriend comes to visit, it's usually like, you got to stay for 2 days because it's going to take us so much time to come to in.
She accused Michelle of emotional manipulation too, weaving personal anecdotes into speeches just vulnerable enough to tug hearts, then pivoting into moral lessons that, surprise, perfectly align with her brand. Kelly called it sentimental scaffolding. It holds the speech up, but builds nothing real. And don't forget Netflix. That massive deal? Packaged as noble storytelling, but Kelly saw it as pure power play. Entertainment moguls with a political brand. All about control of the narrative. Kelly even pointed out the nostalgia factor. People look back on the Obamas like it was a golden age, but Kelly said that's manufactured. Every White House has controversies, but Michelle's image has been curated so tightly, hers just disappeared.
we knew.
Or, yeah. And we have to ask ourselves, the men in our lives is, why wait to be asked?
Who do you think?
It seems like what we go through is pretty obvious. I mean, maybe we're not complaining, but we're actually living life out.
This is the perfect soundbite after the discussion we just had about how the left looks at everything through this identity. You could say prism. You could also say prison. Where she's talking about how women aren't allowed to articulate their pain, about how they just suck it up. They don't show that. As if men never do that. Men are known, aren't they, for articulating their pain? That's what you think of when you think of man, traditional.
And finally, Kelly talked timing. Michelle's big public appearances? Always right around political moments, election cycles, big fights, party drama. And yeah, Kelly said that's no coincidence. Michelle's story is often framed as a climb from humble roots. True, to a point. But Kelly reminded us, her rise was also shaped by elite education, high-powered networks, and opportunities most Americans will never have. So yeah, that was Megyn Kelly's takedown. Not a gentle critique, but a wrecking ball, aimed squarely at the glossy, untouchable image Michelle Obama's been carrying for years.